Good morning, beloveds. I now have Foster sitting in my lap because I was trying to get Rita to get up on the day bed with me, and she won't. And I think I know why. And it's just, because the day bed was Hayes's spot. And she came in here and got up on the stool and then started to get up on the bed and then stopped. And she's looking at the bed like, something's wrong here, but I'm not sure what. It took a Thursday was really hard on all of us. And I don't know if you know, but clowder is the word that you use for more than one cat. So my clowder, they're all being a little weird now because one of them's gone. All right. Okay. Are you going to let me do this? She will not get up on the day bed. I probably need to take all the towels off the day bed because we use it to protect the day bed from cats because they just randomly, barf. I probably need to take all the towels off and wash them. So, all right. It is July 31st. We are at the end of July. This year is more than half done. I don't know where it's gone. Our title is Seal of Approval. The first quote is, "Study to shew the self-approved unto God." Oof, wish they'd use a better translation. And that is 2 Timothy 2:15. The second quote is, "What a load is dropped from the shoulders of personal responsibility when we realize that the eternal mind holds naught against anyone." And that is The Science of Mind, page 457. Okay, so one of the things human beings need is approval. When we first look for approval from our parents or from those who are closest to us when we are children, as we grow older, we seek approval from friends, teachers, employees, and those with whom we share intimate relationships. And too often, when we think we don't have someone's approval, we feel there is something wrong with us. We need to remember that God always approves of us. In the parable of the prodigal son, the father welcomes the son as he returns home. He gives a welcome home party and presents the prodigal with gifts. There is no reprimand or anger, and nothing is held against the son for his mistakes. There is only love and joy at his homecoming. Since God is unconditional in loving us in spite of our mistakes, shouldn't we strive to show the same kind of love to ourselves and other people? What a load is dropped from our shoulders when we give up holding grudges and making judgments and simply love. When we know we have God's approval, we can forgive ourselves, know that we are lovable, and extend love to others with the same forgiveness. I know that God, my Creator, approves of me, forgives me when I make mistakes, and loves me always. How blessed I am, and how thankful. And that is J.A., Jean Anderson. And she's right. She's right. A lot of us do feel the need for approval. And it can vary depending on what's going on in our lives. If we're struggling, we feel that need for approval far more intensely than when things are going well. And one of my favorite things that Reverend Jesse teaches is why God doesn't judge. And basically his lesson on why God doesn't judge is because there's nothing outside of God. For us to judge, then we have to have something to compare it against. It has to be outside of us. And God, there is nothing outside of God. That's why God can't judge us. It also helps when we let go of the personality of God. When we make God a little too human, then we give God some of the human characteristics that can be less than, well, as a therapist friend of mine likes to say, non-preferred. When we take the emotion and the anthropomorphization, or the personality, out of God and see God as that divine mind, that patterning intelligence, then we realize that God cannot judge us, because we are not outside of God. God can't compare us to anything because we're not outside of God. And that has been very helpful in going a long way to healing my relationship with God, to recognize that, God's not going to judge me. My fellow human being, that's a different story. But then that's the other lesson, is that what you think of me is none of my business. That's your business. No, it is up to me to behave in a kind, compassionate, loving way. It is up to me to, when I make a mistake that involves you, to make amends, and to not behave in a way that hurts other people, and to behave in a way that doesn't hurt myself, and therein lies that, that thing when we act more like God, when we try to love more unconditionally. I mean, we're human. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. There are always going to be conditions to our love, because, but we can work on that. We can work towards being more like that spirit, being more like the spirit of love, being less, more unconditional is what I'm trying to say, and not doing a very good job of it. And that's the point of spiritual practice. That's the point of communing with that spirit every day, is to get closer to that activity of unconditional love, of being kind, of being compassionate. That's one of the reasons why I suggest that practice of doing something loving, kind, and compassionate for yourself every day. What better way to practice on yourself? Everybody is looking for approval. Well, the first person to give you approval should always be yourself. Because God always approves of you. So give the approval to yourself. And the more you can give the approval to yourself, then the more you can give people that come into your sphere of influence the freedom to be themselves, to give themselves the self-approval. It doesn't mean we approve of bad behavior. It doesn't mean we're going to tolerate bad behavior. It just means when people are acting out, then we can be gentle with them. We can remind them, hey, you know what? You're a beloved child of God. You don't have to do this way. And you can remind them that the best place for approval to come from is from within, from themselves, and from the source of their own being. By practicing it yourself. The thing about Jesus is Jesus was the divine example, not the exception, the example. And so the more we can activate that Christ-like behavior within ourselves, the more we can give ourselves our own self-approval, the more we can extend that privilege to other people, to show them that the best place for approval is going to come from within. And when we stop seeking approval from others, we might we'll definitely live a little more freely. We'll definitely live a little more freely, if not a lot more freely. So, all right. That went a completely different direction than I thought it was. So let me run back through here and see if I've forgotten anything. I like the quote, the Science of Mind quote. What a load is dropped from the shoulders of personal responsibility when we realize that the eternal mind holds naught or nothing against anyone. Yeah. So, and I agree with her. We all need approval. So why not start with ourselves? We need to remember that God always approves of us. And then she reminds us of the story of the prodigal son, you know, and the son that stayed got, he got a little bent out of shape. And that's when God reminded him, look, it was always yours. All you had to do was take it, ask for it, use it. And you didn't do that. You punished yourself by holding yourself. So, in the story of the prodigal son, both of the sons made mistakes. So, and the father didn't hold it against them. The father just reminded them, look, I love you. And that's what God is always saying to us, no matter what is happening around us. I love you. Okay. When we know that we have God's approval, we can forgive ourselves, know that we are lovable, and extend love to others with the same forgiveness. So that's the last line. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it? I think that would be it. It's the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to know that we have God's approval. To know that we have God's approval. Now, what does that look like? I'm not sure. What would it take for you to know that at the center of your being, the core of your being, you have God's approval? Spend a little more time in meditation. Spend a little time in treatment. Go and do something, that God would approve of. Maybe, show love to another human being. So that is the mission today. To know that you have God's approval. You have God's love. All God is love. So you've always got God's love. I think it's that idea to feel God's approval. Whatever that looks like to you. The other mission is the same one I give you every day, which is to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that looks like. Yesterday, mine was to go to the dentist. I thought I'd cracked a tooth. Well, it turns out I hadn't cracked a tooth. I just lost a filling. Fortunately, it was a filling that it didn't cause any pain. But that's not the one I ended up having to have fixed. I had a tooth over here that one was causing some pain. So I got that one fixed. And then I go back in a couple of weeks to have this one fixed. And I really liked the dentist when I first started going to her. It was one dentist, and then her son went into practice with her, and now they have another dentist in practice with her, and they're wonderful people. Nobody likes going to the dentist, but you know what? You need a dentist, you let me know. I got a good one. All three of the dentists in the practice are amazing, and everybody on the staff that I interacted with yesterday was really cool. Their receptionist's English is not any better than it was when I first started going there, so she can be a little hard to understand. You just have to listen a little more closely. So loving, kind, compassionate can look like going to the dentist. Because that's self-care. Okay. Yeah. And the healthier you are, the better you'll feel, the more you feel like you'll have that seal of approval. So, what you got to do what it takes to take care of yourself. All right. So whatever it looks like, make sure you actually engage all 5 of your senses and enjoy something. Take a walk, take a nap, take 3 deep breaths. It is about self-care. And you deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. You deserve your own approval. All right. All the other things, the same things. Do something to engage your mind and your body, unless today's your day of rest, because we all need one of those. Drink plenty of water. There is never a day that you need to take off from drinking plenty of water. It is still really hot. It's the last day of the July fry, as my weatherman has been saying, the weather person has been saying. So drink plenty of water. And, get that early in your day light. Sundays are a little weird because I start my day a little bit later. But it does that early in your day, bright light will help to reset those circadian rhythms. You will sleep better at night. You will have more energy during the day. It's science. You can look it up. And as always, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you all the time. So take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise it. Look for the good and praise it. And let me promise you that you are the good. You can be a big part of the good. That's up to you. So, catch us on the social medias. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spiritual Center, or Creative Life Spark, depending on the social media. I'm the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. So you want to know what's going on in the center? Email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact. There are always book studies going on. There's at least 2 going on right now. There is the lessons from Marsha coming up. You can always email that in anytime. And apparently we are going to put those off. They're going to start second Thursday in March and run through the first Thursday in September. Our fearless leader she had something else she has to do the first one, so we want to make space for her because this is her project. So and if there was anything else, like I said, get on that constant contact. The hot links are hot. And since we're gonna have an 11 a.m. service, I probably should go eat breakfast. So have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, an amazing day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a seal of approval day, a good day, a Sunday. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased always and forever. It's a state of grace. All right. So take care of yourself. Know that Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I should be back with you at 9 a.m. Tomorrow. But before that, we will have an amazing service for you right here at 11 a.m. And it will be up on YouTube later. I've taken to doing it as soon as I get home to process it. So that hopefully I can get it up, because I'm using the YouTube editing and it takes longer. So I have to let it process for a couple of hours. So that's where we're at. Yeah. Know that you're loved, and I will see you soon.